What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for a brand new episode in the 3 to T series, where I'm attempting to play through and showcase to you guys all the beautiful, amazing courses on GSPro. By as the name implies, playing 3 holes per course, usually holes 1, 9, and 18, which we are in fact doing here today, from a course that I actually first saw Big Dog playing. Shout out to the Big Dog. I believe D-Lud also did this one. Didn't really know what I was getting into, but it seemed like it looked pretty good from the brief holes and glimpse of the course that I saw. But based on this opening tee box and the opening hole here, I kind of this thing loaded up and I was like, wow, this looks pretty cool. But we are playing Judge is the name of the course. In parentheses, it's RTJ Capital Hill. This is in Prattville, Alabama, USA, designed by 1970K Austin, who was also, I did another course of his recently, which was the Ole Miss Golf Course, home of the Stice Man, which he was very happy about. But 1970K Austin here does a great job with courses. This looks really, really nice here just as soon as it opens up. Sky looks really cool. Trees look good, fairways, water, all that good stuff. Try to be even par through the 3 holes per usual. We'll do the quick rundown of these settings. Course recommended settings like usual. We've got normal greens, normal fairways, 11 stimp, furthest back tees like usual, 7,824 yards. Thursday pins, course altitude at 272 feet, 8-foot gimmies, calm wind, and I have my auto aim turned on just to speed things up a little bit. Day number 2 here, if you noticed, no more Sim 2. Well, I still have it, but day number 2 with the QI10 LS 8-degree head with the Tensai Mitsubishi Chemical, Tensai AV Blue 75-gram extra stiff flex driver shaft in it. So far, so good. Kind of sore and fatigued today, so I did a brief warm-up. I did a par 3 course first and then just went to the range real quick, hit a couple. The first ones weren't great. I ended it on that one, which wasn't bad, but just going to kind of swing smooth. So far, so good. Literally, day number 2, it came around this time. Today's Sunday afternoon. It came yesterday around this time. So still got to experiment. I'm probably in somewhat of that honeymoon period of liking how it feels, but seems, as far as the head, I can't tell a huge difference. I do like the fact that it has the sliding weight, so I have it all the way to the weight in the toe for the fade setting, prevent me from having that big sizable duck hook left, which I like. It seems a little bit hotter off the face, probably because the weight's forward, but to me the biggest difference is the shaft. I'm really liking the shaft. Different kick point, mid-launch, mid-spin compared to the hazardous shafts that I was using that were much more boardy. They were low launch, low spin. So this one needs to time it up a little bit better, but forces me to slow down a little bit more kick and feels like I don't have to swing quite as hard to get as much out of it. Not quite as taxing to hit it, but who knows? I said it when I tested it yesterday that can't expect to just buy a new driver. This was new to me, used, but the point is you can't expect to just get a new club and have all your problems solved. So I'll still spray them. I'll lose some right, lose some left, but hopefully as we get more and more used to it, we'll be able to strain things out, get some decent ball speeds, get back to speed training, and progress forward, and hopefully hitting driver halfway decent. But let's go ahead and get into it. First hole, par 4, 411, down 43 yards with a lot of water and trees. Let's hit the flyover. This course and this hole specifically looks really, really cool. This will be a good one. Hopefully we get some. I know the tagline isn't forgiveness. The whole QI10 was the quest for inertia, mainly with the max head with the 10K MOI, but still pretty forgiving for an LS head. And hopefully, ooh, the bridge over there looks cool. Hopefully we keep this thing relatively straight. We'll get a ton of roll if it stays in the fairway down this 43-yard slope. So let's aim. Not get too crazy because I'm not going to go after anything super hard, but we'll aim there. Hopefully it doesn't fade. Hopefully it doesn't duck hook. Ideally, similar to what I ended it on. Nice baby draw, about 2,000 spin, keep it in the air, carry about 270. 273, that was a good one. Felt like a relatively smooth swing too. So I'll take those numbers if I can just repeat that time and time again. But let's see what we can do. Try to be, like I said, even par through these 3 holes. Oh, that felt left, but it wasn't. Baby fade, stay up. That is for not, we're in the rough by this tree. For a baby fade, not the best ball speed, not the best carry. That was 247. That was kind of low and heely, but spinny, and it carried 298 in the game. We got 306 total. So we'll take it for kind of a slower, not the best swing in the world. I think we're maybe clear. If I press 5, I think we're in front of this tree, so I think we're all right. 103 into this. It's going to come out 9 degrees right, so we're going to have to aim pretty far over here to the left, maybe even more. 9 degrees, I have a tough time judging how far 9 degrees is going to shoot you. That's a good amount. I just don't want this to end up in the water. Give us a putt, but 103 out of the rough will be 6%, so we'll add another 6. So, like, call it 110. Try to land this about 105. We'll hit the approach wedge. So far, I'm digging the course. 101. Go a little. All right. It drew. It was a little bit toey. A little bit offline. We have a putt, though, for bird. Wasn't the worst shot in the world off of that kind of precarious lie out of the tree. Leaves us with 25 feet, playing 26. Personally, you guys have seen all these videos of me playing, and I've said it multiple times. This is my favorite way to play with. More generous gimme circles being the 8 feet, and the auto aim, you don't have to toil over walking back and forth trying to pick a line. If you have friends and family over, or you just want to have a casual round, highly recommend turning this on in the assistance in the GSPro settings. I really, really like the line. So you still have to hit a good putt. It's still speed has to be right and the HLA has to be right, but at least it gives you the line so you don't have to aim it. And honestly, it does help you too with your eyes. If you have trouble reading the dots of how much it's going to break, it is good if you play multiple rounds with this. You kind of train your eye of where you should be aiming. If you just go dead straight, would be usually where you would put the stick. But let's see if we can roll this relatively close to it, if not ideally in 26 feet. Pulled it, and a little too much juice. The last putt I hit, I pushed. Wow. Okay. That trickled outside of the circle. So now we got this for par. And with the 8-foot gimmies, that was actually way too much because 8 feet, we're still pretty far away. So this is 8 playing 10. Definitely not inside the friendship zone or whatever they call it for gimmies. All right, got that one to drop. Good par save. We are off, even through one. Second hole as we're flying over. 9th hole, par 4, 437 yards. Looks like pretty narrow based on these 2 holes. I know small sample size, but so far pretty narrow with trees, pretty tall trees lining these fairways. Looks like you got to be pretty straight off the tee. Let's hit the flyover. Flying through the trees. Really nice touch. I like the pine straw. Trees look good. I like the mow lines. Assuming this is course accurate, it looks like they keep the rough pretty tightly mowed. Usually you see the mow lines in the fairways, not necessarily the rough, but nice little touch. Let's see if we can hit something. It looks a little furry over here on the tee. Sometimes if you're not careful, you put yourself so far, you get into the rough and it takes some speed off the driver. See if we can get something out here and play a little bit better contact, smoother tempo. That is one thing with the heavier extra stiff, although this has a little more kick to it, so it's not quite as taxing. But with playing a heavier shaft and extra stiff, you do kind of have to go after it to get the most out of it. So on a day like this where I don't want to swing all out, you do need to give just that little bit of extra. Otherwise, probably should be playing something either a little bit lighter or a little bit less stiff. But all right, there's the miss, but that should run. Try to turn it over. Super low backspin, 51 spin axis. Ball speed, not even that bad. It just doesn't stay in the air. So that's been the miss. Right now, that's playing 8 degrees on standard. I do like the 8-degree heads. My old Sim 2 was the 8 degree, which I keep saying old, but still have it. people maybe they were recommending possibly going like 9-degree head, and I like having the face a little bit open, maybe 9-degree and turn it down to like 8 or 7. But the 8-degree was like $75, $100 cheaper, so it kind of was that or nothing. But that's more of my swing than it is the club and the setup. Leaves us with 185 up a yard. I kind of like. I don't know how the designers do it, but I noticed some of these they're like almost glowing on the graphics. It looks pretty cool. We'll hit a smooth 6. It doesn't honestly need to be that smooth, but try to get the 6 up there. Decently long. I know I'm playing the tips, but decently long par 4. Goal today was just to kind of a little bit of a lazy Sunday. Did some yard work earlier, so been playing a lot. Like I said, I'm sore and fatigued. I'm going to work out later, but goal today was just not to overly tax myself and just try to swing easy for a change, which I rarely do. Kind of like all out, all or nothing type of golfer in terms of power and whatnot. Toey. Ooh, that's going to work though. It actually needs to sit. That's right at it. Felt more toey than that was. It was actually a pretty good strike. Come off that hill. All right. The dreaded good strike. Wasn't accounting for it, but gives us a chance to. I've been messing around with some different shots with the 60. If you guys have been following the channel, I like to choke down on these, but lately I've been trying to use like the entire length of the club, try to catch it a little bit cleaner, do a little bit more of the wedge matrix, and mostly what I was working on is a somewhat fuller swing. It's about 75%, but like a 50-yard shot with the 60-degree used to always be a choke down 56 for me, but seems like with a little bit fuller shots, I get some better spin, better control if I can learn how to kind of get a feel for the distances. But leaves us with 11 yards out of the fairway. Honestly, I could almost chip this, but it's down. Oh, it's not down. Down 0, so down slightly, but it's going to come out 2.5 right. We'll aim there. Try to land this about halfway there, 5-6 yards. All right, 4.7 inside the circle, though. We'll take another par. Even through 2. Third and final hole, 18th hole. Another par 4, looking like a dog-leg right. Water looks cool, too. Got some dirty water here in Alabama. Looks muddy. I'm liking it. Looks like there's some different type of layouts on these holes. Pretty cool. I know the designers, they're doing a course. If it's real life course, which I'm assuming this is, they could kind of do what they can. They can't just, unless they're making a complete fantasy course, they got to deal with what the course actually is, layout-wise, LiDAR, all that stuff. So it's not like they can invent their own layouts of holes. But this course looks like it is set up pretty cool. Aim up the right. Try to not have a 50 spin access on this drive. I will say, though, despite how bad that other swing was, it was still in play. So it is, I think, a touch more forgiving, more so with the head probably with that. But I think people were asking how I liked the driver and whatnot. I think from what I can tell so far, again, day number 2, but seems like probably 75% of what feels different is probably the shaft, which I know everyone always says shafts are important and all that stuff, but I never thought there was as big of an emphasis. I thought it was more so head and club, but after switching the shaft, which I really like so far, maybe that'll change, but it does seem to be more emphasis on the shaft, which is a good learning experience going forward. Oh, super low in the face. That's like a bunted driver, and that's not going to be great considering we aimed right. All right, probably a little too smooth, taking a little too much off of that. Now we're not in a great spot with that tree there. We got water. 107 out of a bunker, so it'll probably play about 10%. It's going to come out right. We'll aim here for the draw. May catch that tree, but so be it. Up about 4 or 5 yards. So that brings us up to about 112, and then call it another probably 10, 12 yards out of this bunker. So let's do 124. We'll go choke down pitch wedge, try to land at about 120. See if that works out for us. Honestly, 2 pars in a row. Wouldn't mind a par here if we can scrape it out. Looks like a river, though, or a waterfall almost over here. Looks pretty cool with the rocks. Should be decent. Sit. Oh, right past the flag. A little bit toey, but that was good enough from there. That's not a bad shot. What did we lose power-wise? We lost 7%, 100% of our spin. So I guess I could have got away with about 115 instead of 120, but close enough. Decent strike. That was what we were looking for. Can't necessarily be mad at that, although it was a miss. What happened to my my auto aim? Will it come back? Sometimes you do this. It doesn't quite come back. That's could have used it on this one too. This thing is breaking like crazy. So a little tip, Big Dog was actually telling me one way he reads greens. He's a wizard in general with a lot of stuff. But one thing which I've been kind of liking as of late, he said, so if you weren't going to aim and you just putted this straight, where would the ball end up? So obviously there's a ton of break here. If you just putted this straight, it would probably end up towards the edge of the circle. So I think I got to be probably 3/4 of the way, almost towards the edge of the circle up here. And it's a birdie putt, so even if we're inside the circle, we'll go out here. Even if it just trickles inside the circle, we'll take the par. But good little tip, help read some of these bendy ones, as Big Dog calls it. What do we have? 24, so it's downhill. It's going to break even more, but 24 down 4, so 17-foot putt. I'm liking too my laser level here for my putts. Not always a perfect HLA, but it does seem to help. Well, that was a 1.6 push. Settle down. I guess that was a good example. It's been maybe a week or 2 since I've aligned it. It's possible I plug in the laser level every time, so it moves slightly just to keep the power on it. I could be, based on where the line is, I try to keep it pretty close, but it could be slightly off, or that was just a bad putt. Either way, maybe I'll, after this, realign the square again. It is nice once you do it, you kind of take that question mark out of your brain of, was that just a bad putt, or was that maybe a possible misalignment type of issue? But we'll take it from Judge, in parentheses, RTJ Capital Hill in Prattville, Alabama, US of A, designed by 1970K Austin, which you can see up there, possibly on the top left of my video. Isn't cutting it off, but ended up even par through the 3 holes. So par on 1, par on 9, par on 18. Pretty cool layout. I like the course. Well done on the design. Take a look at the stats, which probably won't be super pretty. 3 pars, 251, 251. All those are the same because we only hit 1 out of 3 fairways. 18.5 feet of total putting, 5 putts, 20 minutes on the gameplay. 2 out of 3 greens regulation, and 1 out of 3 fairways, like I mentioned. So there you have it. Pretty cool course. Again, shout out to Big Dog and D-Lud. I saw them do this first, and looked like a pretty cool one. Still pretty new on the list. And I think I have one more I'm going to do just to get some of these videos done and save hopefully some of my better swings, fuller power swings, maybe for tomorrow or the next day. Do some maybe some SGT, try to get some world golf ranking points and whatnot. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Like usual, if you have any course requests, please let me know, whether it's a course you stumbled across lately that got released, maybe an older course that you haven't seen anyone do lately that you really like, maybe your home course got built, world famous course, anything in between. Just let me know. I'm happy to play anything, ideally something I haven't done yet, but just let me know down in the comments. Name of the course, the location, and just a brief little background information so I can write it down and relay the information to anyone else watching. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Shout out to the members. You can see everyone's name scrolling down below. If you're not a member, I would greatly appreciate it if you consider becoming a member. If you enjoy any of these videos or live streams, shorts, anything in between, shout out to the people that are members. Really appreciate the additional support. And like always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.